From inappropriate manicures to smashing the patriarchy, here are some of the protocols and traditions the royals have broken since the Queen died. Traditionally, royals are expected to uphold a certain level of restraint. They are strongly advised against any overly familiar interactions with the public, and this includes hugging and kissing their subjects. But after a surprise reunion with her former history teacher Jim Embury in February 2023, Princess Catherine majorly broke protocol. During a visit to the National Maritime Museum, Cornwall, Catherine spotted Embury among the crowd of admirers and swooped in to hug him. It was the first time that the pair had seen each other in over 2 decades, hence Catherine's big bear hug. The princess may have broken royal protocol, but she made her former teacher's day. And judging by her enthusiasm, he likely made her day too. Chatting to the Daily Mail, Embury acknowledged that it was an emotional reunion. He'd actually made a last-minute decision to head to the Maritime Museum after hearing that his former pupil would be there. He said, "It was an incredible meeting and the first time I had seen Kate in 25 years. She hasn't changed, not one bit, and is just like she was. Conscientious, considerate, and exuberant." The pages of honor play a pivotal role in a coronation, and they're expected to hold the monarch's robe during the ceremony. In line with royal protocol, the pages are traditionally comprised of the children of aristocrats, but they are not meant to be working royals themselves. However, King Charles III chose to break royal protocol for his coronation in May 2023. The king opted to make his eldest grandson, Prince George, a page, despite it being against tradition.
Just in the background there, Prince George, 9-year-old, who's been asked to act as one of the pages of honor.
Speaking to People, a royal spokesperson revealed that Princess Catherine and Prince William did not take the decision lightly. The source explained, "His parents are very excited and delighted that he is a page. It's something that his parents have thought long and hard about and are very much looking forward to, and I'm sure George is too." In addition to appointing his grandson as a page, Charles also broke centuries-old coronation tradition by modifying George's uniform for the occasion. Typically, the pages wear tights, but George balked at the idea. Subsequently, Charles allowed his grandson to wear black pants. There have been claims that the late Queen Elizabeth II was deeply unhappy with Princess Catherine's habit of repeatedly breaking protocol, but giving an impromptu hug pales in comparison to Camilla, Queen Consort's breach of tradition at the Reading Room Literary Festival in June 2023. Camilla is famed for her love of the arts, so it stands to reason that she's made an arty celebrity BFF or two. At the Reading Room Literary Festival, she greeted some thespian friends, including Dame Judi Dench, by kissing them on the cheek. While giving one's pal a friendly peck on the cheek is pretty commonplace behavior for, well, commoners, it's most unorthodox coming from a royal, and the Queen Consort, no less. Subsequently, her actions reportedly left some guests feeling rather perturbed. Body language expert Judy James told The Mirror, "Presumably these actor-performer friends of Camilla have offered support and warmth in the past, but now she is queen, there needs to be a proper decision about whether the rituals get an upgrade or not." James went on to argue that such behavior was at odds with Camilla's lofty role within the House of Windsor, with the royals supposedly acting in a manner that may have been acceptable when she was merely the Duchess of Cornwall, but is unbefitting of the Queen Consort. James further explained, "This is not really an option for a queen though, as it leaves guests or hosts feeling awkward, and it also seems to alienate anyone not in the inner circle." Breaking royal protocol isn't always a sign of disrespect. Often, such traditions are a relic of a bygone age, with the firm implementing several sexist rules throughout the years. Numerous royal regulations have historically prohibited women from taking part in major ceremonies.
It doesn't sound like a good idea from where I'm standing, I have to say.
Sure. One such tradition pertains to who can and cannot walk in a monarch's funeral procession. Historically, only men have been allowed to do so. Significantly, Queen Elizabeth II didn't walk in her own father's funeral procession, instead traveling in a carriage with fellow female mourners. But during Elizabeth's funeral, a stoic Princess Anne walked the procession with her brothers and nephews, becoming the first woman in history to do so. Although it was a world first for the Windsors, Anne was deeply affected by her mother's death, and to not allow her to walk with her siblings would undoubtedly appear harsh. Indeed, she was by the Queen's bedside when she died. Furthermore, breaking tradition made sense for the defiant Anne, who has previously expressed her frustration with what she deems sexist royal protocol. She told Women's Weekly in 2020, "Of course, the Queen is the Queen, and it's a different relationship, but I still got the feeling that there were women at that end of the room and men at this end of the room. I didn't go for that, so I just annoyed the men at the other end." Members of the firm are not supposed to get too friendly with their subjects. This includes posing for selfies, which they have long been advised against doing, particularly before Queen Elizabeth II's death. As royal commenter Victoria Arbiter explained to Business Insider, royals would always rather have a personal interaction than have people clamoring for selfies. If you grant one, then it quickly becomes overwhelming. It's a simple directive and one that most royals should be able to easily abide by. But no royal is infallible, and now that Elizabeth is no longer alive, this selfie rule has been bent more than a few times. Notably, Prince William has posed for selfies on multiple occasions since his grandmother's death. Just 2 months after the Queen's passing, William and Princess Catherine could already be seen doing away with royal protocol, pausing for selfies with fans on a visit to Scarborough. And it doesn't appear as though William and Catherine will be halting their selfie-snapping sprees anytime soon. During a trip across the pond in December 2022, they smiled for photo ops with fans while attending an NBA game at TD Garden Stadium. Then, in the spring of 2023, William could be seen happily agreeing to selfies when visiting Poland, even exhibiting physical affection to fans while posing. There are stringent rules pertaining to how royals ought to conduct themselves in public.
By the way, you be careful what you say now, because these guys, they're filming.
I know.
But in addition to modifying their conduct, this protocol extends to royals' outward appearance. For instance, they are strongly advised against sporting colorful nail polish, and instead instructed to wear muted and natural tones. Royal etiquette expert William Hanson told The Sun about nail polish specifically. It needs to be skin-colored, so hot red and bright pink, for example, are not correct, especially for official occasions and particularly during mourning. Apparently, Queen Elizabeth II strongly disapproved of colorful nail polish, which she deemed vulgar. This is allegedly why Princess Catherine rarely, if ever, exhibited painted nails while the Queen was alive. But after the monarch's death, Catherine started to bend the rules. In April 2023, Catherine turned heads when she showcased a bold red manicure while attending an Easter church service. Accordingly, fans were quick to call her out for supposedly being disrespectful. One person tweeted, "Too bad the whole photo op is ruined by Kate's brazen red nail polish. It's not protocol, and Kate Middleton has shamed the entire family. Shocking." Another argued on Twitter that Catherine's decision to don the seemingly audacious manicure highlighted the double standard Meghan Markle was subjected to. Meghan, if you remember, was criticized for wearing dark nail polish in 2018. Royal commenter Omid Scobie explained to Harper's Bazaar about that incident, "It's simply about being appropriate. We'd never see this at a royal engagement." However, as much as some people online would like it to be otherwise, rules relating to manicures are really just unofficial protocols. According to royal protocol, members of the firm must bow in deference to senior royals. This means that after Queen Elizabeth II's death, King Charles III's sons were required to bow before the Queen consort. But at Charles's coronation, Prince William and his children defied protocol by not bowing for Camilla, Queen consort, despite Princess Catherine curtsying to her. William did, however, bow for his father. Footage of the seemingly disrespectful act was uploaded to TikTok, where folks in the comments section praised the prince for defying tradition. According to body language expert Judy James, this was an act of rebellion on William's part, with the gesture, or lack thereof, a sign of solidarity with his late mother. Indeed, it has long been reported that William has qualms about Camilla being his children's step-grandmother. As such, he reportedly views her merely as his father's wife. Whether his absence of a bow was a mere slip-up or an act of throwing shade remains a mystery. Traditionally, the reigning monarch is expected to spend the summer at Balmoral, as Queen Elizabeth II did throughout her reign.
For Britain's longest-serving monarch, Balmoral held a sentimental significance.
Ow! It's my foot you're standing on.
In July 2023, it was initially reported that King Charles III wouldn't be staying at his mother's beloved castle. Rather, Charles considered rebuking tradition by spending the summer at Birk Hall, his smaller home on the Balmoral estate, until the fall. It was a history-making decision, the first time a monarch had elected not to reside at the castle since the 19th century. Spending the summer months at the castle was indeed an incredibly poignant prospect for the king, as that's where his mother passed. Although Charles ultimately did abide by protocol by kickstarting his Scottish stay at Balmoral Castle at the end of August, reports suggest he still intends to break tradition. Typically, the Queen didn't make Balmoral public until April in a year, but the Scottish Daily Express reports that Charles will eschew that tradition and begin reopening it in September after the royals' annual stay.